might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing this wonderful morning? It is early, right? Well, I have been up for almost 2 hours now, so, always putting in that work in. So, let me get this started. If you do not know who I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. So, we are starting actually a little bit earlier than we normally start on the Koffee and Kata show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because I plan on jumping over to Tech Niche Tips channel after we're done, so we can have a conversation about resumes versus networking, which one is more effective, or how to effectively use a combination of them, right? So that's going to be the conversation that we're going to have in about a little under an hour, right? But we are going to do, because we don't miss here, right? So we have to put in our work first, and then we can go and take care of other people, all right? So with that being said, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon, www.techcoachralph.dev. You can actually sign up for free. And, you can reach out to me in there, as well as we have a Candid Conversations coming out today, talking about how your mentors have failed you and how we can actually rebound from that using the proper strategies. And tomorrow we are going live with our Q&A session tomorrow night. So looking forward to that. But let's jump right into it. Let's not waste any time because we have things to do. Today is Monday, December 4th, 2023. We are edging closer and closer towards the end of the year. We are almost in for Christmas. So let's get to it. Jump into our news articles and not waste any more time. So let's put up our timer. And we're going to put our 5 minutes on the clock. And we jump to our share screen. Okay, so here we go. Was that happening? Where's my camera? Let me fix the camera. All right, there we are. Okay, so here we go. The first article is, I'm going to reset the timer because of our little camera mishap, right? Let's get our full amount of time needed. All right, so the first article is the super rich are more likely to be heirs, all right? For the first time in at least a decade, new billionaires from inheritance outnumber the self-made billionaires. According to a report from UBS, the Swiss bank says 53 heirs inherited a total of 150.8 billion. Yes, that's correct. 150.8 billion in the year ended in April, compared to 140.7 billion amassed by 84 new minted billionaires from entrepreneuring over that time, in part due to a slower IPO market. The number of billionaires in the world rose 7%, while their combined wealth climbed to 9% to $12 trillion. The wealth of billionaires in most recent years fell short of 13.4 trillion, reached in 2021, was a post-pandemic rally in shares and assets values occurred. Europe led the growth in billionaire wealth for the first time as a luxury goods companies surged. The bank found that billionaire heirs were less interested in philanthropy than first-generation billionaires. So that was interesting. I wanted to share that. One thing that it did hit me with this, right, when I was reading it is that although that it says that they're more likely to be heirs, right? But in the like those who are inheriting this large amount of money from their predecessors, they were probably the first time billionaires who paved the way for them. But I think in today's day and time, like a lot of people, they are looking for those. I mean, to be honest, people have always been looking for those quick rich those get rich quick schemes and falling for that. But there are people who did put in the work and then they actually did leave something to pass down to their children and their children's children. So I don't blame them at all. If you can do it, then do it. But it all starts in putting in the work. And I hope, and I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure that those who made it and they're be able to pass on that wealth, they should be, and I hope that they're putting in the work to drive that same work ethic into their children, right? Because at the end of the day, the same way that you got it, you can also lose it all. The same way that that Rome rose, they also fell. All right. So let's transition on to our next one. You get a transition sound. Let's go with this. The remote workers double dipping. What does that mean? The worry some managers have with remote work is that their employees could be simultaneously holding down another job, the Financial Times writes. 16% of chief human managers surveyed by Gallup recently said executives at their firms think that the workers might have another salaried full-time position on the slide. Interestingly, the proportion who say their companies punish the behavior has more than tripled from a year ago. McKinsey estimates only about 5% of the entire workforce engage in such double dipping. After all, says the Time, even if one had the time, how long could they last doing it? So that is a good question. I'm curious to see if there's any short comments about this, right? Because I have heard of this. Employees don't have to remote to double dip. Once I encountered someone who worked on her boyfriend's company's business while on company's time in the office. She slipped once when she got confused about what she was doing for whom at the time. Needless to say, she was let go. All right, that's fair. So, and here's the thing, right? If you are double dip, that's wrong, right? To be working on one job and then simultaneously working on another job. So when I was first reading this, I misunderstood the simultaneously to mean as like you having two jobs at the same time, but I didn't take it as you're doing the two jobs at the exact same time, which that is wrong because if you're on one company's time, that time is dedicated to the company. And if you are going to, I don't even it's hard to see how are you even able to manage the mixed meetings that are going on. There's some I don't know. That's weird to me. But to me, when I was reading it, I took it as you're working one job in the morning, whatever, 8 to 4, 7 to 3, whatever the case might be, and then you have another job afterwards, right? Maybe 4 to 12, something to that extent, right? But the way if this is saying that they are working two jobs at the same time in parallel, so pretty much, then yeah, that is wrong. And you are that's theft, to be honest with you. That ends up being theft. And you can to me, you can blackball yourself, so you have to be careful, you have to move wisely. To me, I don't see a problem with working two jobs, but working two jobs at the exact same time, the exact same hours, that's where we have a problem. All right, let's go to our last story before we move on to our coding challenge. So this one says managers can better manage AI. Generative AI's potential for managers is staggering and likely limitless, but it isn't perfect, The Economist notes. It cites a Cornell study that found a person can generate 5 ideas in 15 minutes on their own. Give them, let me see something quick. Okay, cool. Give them ChatGPT and the number sourced. So let's read that. It cites a Cornell study that found a person can generate 5 ideas in 15 minutes on their own. Give them ChatGPT and the number soars to 200. but the tech can get tripped up without much training data to work with. So, how can managers harness the best of generative AI? Experts recommend setting clear guidelines on its use, employing a focused lighthouse approach with the wide visibility across the organization, and above all, use it yourself. Right. So I think that's awesome. Last week, Thursday night, we were exploring the newly released Amazon Q generative AI chatbot for businesses. And we're going to continue with that this Thursday to try to figure it out. I'm still working on setting up my account to have the right, because the where I ended up over the weekend was you need to have I forgot what it's called, like IDP, something with the identity for your organization. So I need to do something type of setup with that so I can get past that part to actually launch the chatbot. But I definitely see there is value. There's great value in AI. Like when in some of the projects that I'm working on personally, when I need to write a user story, because I'm not a product owner or anything like that. So when I need to write a user story, I just give the general idea to ChatGPT, and then it creates a whole user story that I can modify it to my liking. So yeah, it's totally helpful. And it's like not only for managers, it is essential. Like it is very important for every single employee, and I think that is the need that Amazon Q is trying to fill. All right, so that is our short news stories for the day. And we are going to jump right into our coding challenge. Let's put 25 minutes on the clock. 25 minutes. So we are going to be continuing with our rock, paper, scissors challenge. Let me open up actually, I'm gonna go to GitHub first, but let me open up our PyCharm as well, so we can continue moving it along. So something I was saying the other day is after we actually finish all this, right? Um, we we probably have to reset the challenge because how will other people do the challenge if we merge the whole thing in, right? So we have to take that into consideration, and probably going forward, because other people won't be able to merge into it, but probably going forward, it's I would recommend that if you do this challenge, you go ahead and you put it on your own GitHub so you can get some practice with that, and then you submit it to us to review, and we can do a live review, and we can give feedback and all that stuff, right? Even if you were to add us, like make an open pull request, so we can comment on the pull request, because not only is it important to do these challenges, right? But I also use them as an opportunity to go through the whole entire process of what you would do with like writing code, committing, like going through the Git processes, and then asking for like a code review through a pull request, merging it into your branch and stuff like that. I would say add like branch protection rules so that my biggest goal here, right? And this is what I always tell the people that I'm coaching, right? To give you that, get you as close to that what you're going to be working in a real work environment as, so that once you actually start, you're not faltering, you're not failing, right? So I want you to have that real experience. Okay. All right. So all right, let me open up the project for PyCharm. And by the way, yesterday on the Terraform live stream, we actually made some great progress, although we ended up similarly to where we were before. But we are able to figure out a lot of stuff about configuring the VPCs, which I think that is essential, and we're learning a lot through that. So, but next coming this Sunday, we are going to tackle on the last part that got us stuck before we move on to our next section of Terraform. All right, so we have this here. So we are going to go to this screen, right? So this is the GitHub repo, right? Last time we had pushed the code up, and the code that we pushed up was on a branch called add health check, TCR for tech coach Ralph, add health check. And we submitted a pull request, right? So there goes a pull request here. And what do we do? So part of the challenge was to make sure the API is up and running. And I thought to myself, well, why don't we just add a health check like a lot of services have, so that you can know the health of the application? So we went and did that. We found a guide online how to do that. So then we opened up a pull request after it was done. And now let's go ahead and click on our pull request. right. So dev testing is completed. QA testing is completed. And our good friend Don, he reviewed the code, right? So when you're doing a pull request, when you have a pull request, you have the file changed tab where you can go check to see what was changed. And that, so this is pretty much what you're doing the code review on. And you can, you're seeing what was added, and then you can like click on this little line right here. You can leave it. So you see the, like how it was before, and you see how it is now. You can leave a comment. You know, you can start like, so when you leave a comment, like, and you can add a single line comment, or you can click on start a review. And once that happens, then the person who wrote the code and stuff like that, and other people can add to that comment, or the person can review the comment and they can give some input and some insight, stuff like that. So this is where you actually see the change in the code, right? Let's see. All right. So that was that. And then let me see here. Okay, it's test. All right, test. All right. So this is the test that we added, right? Because we always want to add a corresponding test to our when we add new code, we want to also be testing it, right? So there goes our test. So let's go, and we're gonna go back here, and this is approved, right? Don said looks good. And we're just going to merge our pull request. So we're going to be merging from our branch into the main branch, right? So are you ready for us to merge? After 13 long, hard years, we are finally ready to merge, and let's do it. Merge pull requests. And if there were merge conflicts, GitHub would get, like, if not merge conflicts, right, but if the main branch was updated and it didn't conflict, then there would be a button here to update the branch to the most recent branch from master. We don't have that in this case, but if there were conflicts, you'd have to go and fix those conflicts first, right? So confirm merge. We're going to confirm, and it is done. And we could delete the branch, and everything would be merged in. So now that it's merged, we are going to check the code, right? Because remember, it wasn't there in main before, right? And let's go here. Let's see. It should be here, right? Let's see. So merge pull request, and let's see. Is it here yet? We merged. Pull request is closed. Technical draft merge pull requests from now. All right, let me refresh. What's going on? 1 minute ago. Let's see. Oh, wait, 1 second. We did this. Merge. All right. So where is the code? Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so it's there. So main test health check is in main. In our README file, it should have the. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Awesome. There we go. So we have successfully added our health check to the rock, paper, scissors challenge. So go ahead and give everyone a huge round of applause. Which I wonder, let me see something real quick. Might have. So, and all right, so what I'm going to do, because I found I don't know how I feel about that, because I would probably want this health to be under the API endpoint, but that's something that we can take care of later. But it's all good. It is all good, because it could be there too, right? So we'll worry about that later. And we shall, so let's get started a little bit let's go further into our code, right? Let's go here. And where did we leave off, right? So let's see, Docker. And you see like how many different opportunities we had to further our testing and our QA knowledge with this. We worked on like this. We were involved in Docker. We were involved in Git. We were involved in pull requests. We were involved in merging. So many different. And we also use this repo for Terraform to set up a the rock paper scissors challenge on a terraformed EC2 instance, right? So many different opportunities that we have with this. So let's use everything, every resource to your advantage, so you can put yourself in the best position to win, right? That is what my message is to you. Okay, so let's go to the other screen. So here we are. We were writing our test the other day, and we're actually gonna have to start up Docker, to be honest. So let's fix our little typo here as well. All right. So Docker starting. All right. So the test that we had last time was so here are our tests. We have the test for, let's put a space over here. I don't like those yellow squiggly lines, so I always like keeping the code very clean and lean. Oops. All right. So we did test application is up through our health check, but we're gonna change this now because we have a new endpoint. So we are going to I'm starting it up with Docker. I think it's this one, maybe. Let's try that one. All right, so I have a few Docker images of so let's make sure that we have the right Docker image up. Okay, cool. So that's good. So what we're gonna do is we're going to update. Let's say health check endpoint equals f base URL health. And when we go to, so right now we're just updating our, got a timer going off. Okay. All right. So then we have our health check endpoint, and we are going to say, instead of using the play endpoint, because when we were doing it the other way, we didn't have an endpoint. Now we're going to say health check endpoint. We're going to say that our status code should be 200, I believe. And this is 200. And now validate. So now we're going to say, validate when so we're not doing that anymore. But since we have this done officially, well, before I remove the to do, let's try to run it, right? So let's go to this and let's give it a run. So this is failing, which I expected would, but so application is up. Cool. We are going to mark this actual to do as completed. So API is up, validate with me. All right, so this is done. So let's take this away. Get rid of that. This comment. All right, so our application is up and running. Test send a valid response for each type of weapon. We get a 200, so we have this. Test is rock. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave the comment. I'm just gonna remove the thing of to do. All right, there we go. And we have our test rock as weapon. We did all 3 of these. So we can remove the to do because that's done, but we can leave the comment to describe what we're doing. So if somebody comes in after us, they can easily understand what we're doing here, right? So now we have test of the axe, right? Um, and when we did our run, this failed. So let's look at this failure. And it says it's coffee break. All right. So we got a 422. And when we researched our status codes, um, we want to, so let's do it like this, right? So this is going to be a assertion error. So we're gonna change this for assertion error. I wonder if we do both. No, can't do that. All right, so let's go like that, right? And let's run it again. It's gonna. Oh, where did it fail? Let's see, line 70. Okay, so we are looking here, and we wanted. Oh, it's. Okay, it's failing here actually. So it's giving us a 4. So let's do some research, right? Let's go to 400 status code definitions. Uh, because although we are like in QA, it's also part of our job to make the right recommendations, right? If we, and part of that last week when we were looking at the difference between a 202 and a 200 means that a status code is accepted and processed, while a 202 is it's accepted and it's being processed, or it might not have even been processed yet, right? So I think it's imperative that we provide the correct status codes, and and we can make those type of recommendations because like a developer might use an incorrect status code, and okay, and we can give the proper recommendation. Okay, so let's look at the 400, right? So for XX client errors, right? So 400 bad requests, the server cannot or will not process the request due to an apparent client error, malformed request, syntax, size too large, invalid request messaging framing, or deceptive requesting routing, right? Which this one sounds like it might be close to what we're experiencing. So 401 is unauthorized, similar to a 403 forbidden. So unauthorized mean your authentication didn't work. So like your username and password or however you're trying to authenticate doesn't work. 402 payment required. I don't think I've ever seen a 402 before. That is interesting. 403 forbidden. That means you don't have the right, like you're authenticated, but you don't have the right authorization. 404 not found. It's most likely like you're using the wrong method to send, or or you're just on the wrong endpoint altogether. Method unallowed. You are so that's interesting because the method is not allowed. I saw a 404 on this little application that I was working on that I was building, but I should probably have it at 405 because I tried to send a post to a GET request and I got a 404 not found, but that should probably be routed to be a 405. So the more you know, all right? So 407 proxy, timeout, conflict. The 422, let's say unprocessable content. Though the request was well formed, but could not be processed, right? And which it's also valid for this situation, but I think that if we were to go to disease talent, and we're to go to this one. So with the choice of rock, how am I getting this? Oh, using the wrong port. All right, 8080. Send. Choice of rock, right? It gives us this. Another test that we'd want to add is what if we send our choices in different cases as well? So that is another test we can definitely add. So what I'm gonna do, let's update this real quick to say, which I think that one is like a little less important. Oh wait, this to do right here. So move that to do. Let's make this a little smaller. Let's move this right here. That so invalid request, we get it. So these two are the same, right? But I also want to add a to do to say sending the valid weapons in different cases should still return a 200 status, right? So that's another test that we can write up. And you're seeing like we're coming up with a bunch of different tests for something that seems like pretty easy, right? But the more you test, the more you can fortify your application, because the quality is key. Because what if we only tested it with this, right? But then now somebody comes in and they go over here and they type in rock in all lowercase, and now it says a failure because it has to be in uppercase. Or they type in they would type it in like this, right? With the first letter being caps, right? And we can still take all of them and we can transform the case in all of them, right? So let's go with that, and that should still pass, correct, right? And we can do let's say a lowercase s, capital O, mm, mm, right? Something like that. Still passes, right? And that's the goal. So I'm just showing you like different testing strategies that we can employ to make sure that our application is working as it should. Okay. But so let's say we do some acts, right? Something else that's not in our three choices. So we got a 422 unprocessable. So what my thing is, this error message is not the most, it's not the most helpful, right? So if we look at our error list, which one do we think would be the best one for it? I would personally go with, I don't think it's a 422, right? Which it could be. Let's compare. So 422 versus 400. 400 is bad request. The server to a parent client error, malform request. Mm, you know what? I think I'm going to go with the 422. However, with the 422, we are going to write we're going to define the error message to be more specific, right? Because okay, I'm tending to agree with the 422 as unprocessable content, because if we're required rock paper or scissors, but we're passing an axe, however, to help the client or the user, or because usually with APIs, it's one application integrating with another application, right? So in order to help them out, we want to have a clear error message, because even with here, the input should be, remember when we opened up the issue, that we want to be able to pass the actual weapon name instead of a 1, 2, or 3. But in the message, it's returning that it should be a 1, 2, or 3, and saying that we inputted act. But what is the 1, 2, or 3? And reading it like this doesn't really help. So what we're gonna do, we are going to spend our last 2 minutes to open up a new issue, right? Issues, and we're gonna do a new issue, and we are going to write in our title, and we'll finish this up, and then we will head out and jump over to Tech Niche Tips channel. So this is called, what are we going to name this, right? And then on Wednesday, we can continue writing more tests, but this is going to be called invalid weapon choice does not return easily understandable error message and body, right? So, and this, like what I'm doing right here, this is exactly how I create defects at work, right? This one, it's not really a defect. It's a pretty much a feature enhancement, I would say, to make it easier for the customer. But it comes through like during the testing process, right? So, and like I wouldn't necessarily open it up as a defect. I would open it up as a kind of like an enhancement request. But it's this one is a little bit borderline, right? But it's all good. So what we're gonna do is summary, and then expected results, and then actual results, and steps to reproduce, just like we did last time, and environments, right? So I'll start off with the environments because this was happening in locally via Docker. One thing that I didn't do, which we can actually do on Wednesday, is merge in the latest changes to our to the branch we're working on now, right? All right. So now we are gonna say let's give this oops, markdown language. All right. So we are gonna say steps to reproduce. We are going to take this request. So take this endpoint. So when I'm reporting like API issues, I put the endpoint, I put the method, and then I say request body, and we're going to take this, right? And let's see code. Let's see if that shows correctly. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And the actual results, we're going to copy the results that we're getting here. Let's put raw, maybe? No, not that. I guess we'll take this. Oh, copy. There we go. Copy. And then we're going to say see how that looks. All right, perfect. This is what I wanted. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'm going to do the same thing for this down here. So, oh, wait a second. Okay. There we go. So we got that. And we're going to say expected results. So, error message doesn't clearly error message doesn't clearly express how I can provide a correct request, right? And expected results. So what would be my expected results, right? I would say I would want to have something like let's say we were to do so that way, which I don't think this is necessary actually. We don't need that. But I'd want to say, I don't think we need any of this stuff. I would say weapon something like that, right? Then this, like, I'm just giving an example to the developer, right? And I would say oh, actually no. I would say, oops. What I would say is error message, right? Make it very, very understandable, right? I'd say you entered the weapon choice of axe. You can only choose from rock, paper, or scissors as a weapon. Right? Very clean, right? So we have our our status code of 422. All right, so, and then here, let's do and our summary. When a user passes an invalid weapon choice, I want a clear error message so the user can know what their options for weapons are, as opposed to an enum choice. All right, there we go. So that is our yep, there we go. And now let's fill this out. Let's go to label. I don't think it's a bug, to be honest, right? I'm going to go with enhancement. Yeah, it's not a bug, but it's an enhancement. It's working, right? But it can be clearer. No project associate. I guess we can use that. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's good, right? And here's the thing, right? With like submitting issues, it's not only meant for like a bug or a problem, right? You can put in enhancement requests. You can write documentation to be submitted or stuff like that, right? So there's so many things you can do. You can ask a question, many different things that you can do. But let's go ahead and submit this so we can end our morning. So let's go submit new issue. And bada bing, bada boom, we have got it done. All right, so we shall see what happens going forward. Don will get this and review it, but I think we're good, right? So we created an issue. I hope you enjoyed that. So let's get back to our full screen. Okay, so that's it for this morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate those who were able to tune in early this beautiful Monday morning. It is once again Monday, December 4th, 2023. We are edging closer and closer towards the end of the year. And I've been doing this since, end of May, beginning of June, and it has been totally a remarkable ride. I totally, totally appreciate you all. I look forward to talking to you guys tonight, or not tonight. Talking to you guys tomorrow night on the Q&A show, but check out the candid conversation that I have coming out at 12 o'clock today about how your mentors have failed you and how to fix that problem. All right. I am about to go jump over to Tech Niche Tips channel. Check me out over there. I hope you guys enjoy the conversation, and always looking to collab, always looking to connect. So if you haven't done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live. And check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. But until next time, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.